The tribe gathered in a silent circle, firelight flickering on faces painted with judgment. The cowboy stood at the center, hands bound, shirt torn, dirt and blood mixing with sweat. His hat lay somewhere in the dust, forgotten like his pride. Every whisper cut him deeper than the rope that tied his wrists. They called him a liar, a thief, a man who dared to touch what was sacred. He didn't fight it. Maybe he was tired of fighting. The only thing he looked for, through that sea of faces, was her, the chief's daughter. But she wasn't there, and that hurt more than the wounds on his back. He thought she had given up on him too. When the chief lifted his spear, silence fell. The air thickened. The fire popped. The cowboy's heartbeat sounded like thunder in his ears. He defied our law, the chief declared, and for that he must pay. The tribe murmured in agreement. The cowboy raised his head slowly, eyes burning with quiet acceptance. "Do what you have to do," he said, voice rough but steady. "But know this, I never lied about her." His words trembled in the wind, reaching no ears that cared. Until one voice rose, soft, steady, trembling with truth. "Stop!" Every head turned. She walked into the firelight, the chief's daughter, her hair loose, eyes shimmering with tears that refused to fall. She stepped between the spears and the man who had once saved her life. Her voice cracked, but her will didn't. "He didn't defy us," she said. "He defied hate." The chief's hand froze mid-air. The cowboy looked at her like he was seeing dawn after endless night. But the tribe was not swayed. A dozen voices rose. "He broke our code. He touched the forbidden. He doesn't belong." The air filled with rage again, and yet she didn't move. She turned, faced her people, and said the four words that shattered everything: "I belong with him." For a second, even the wind seemed to stop. The fire swayed but made no sound. The chief's face twisted, pain, anger, disbelief. "You would leave your bloodline for this man?" he asked, voice shaking with thunder. She didn't blink. "He gave his life for mine once," she said, "and I won't let him lose it again." The cowboy's throat tightened, words stuck behind tears he'd buried for years. The chief lowered his spear, eyes wet but proud. "Then he will live," he said quietly, "but he will never return." The cowboy turned to her, voice barely a whisper. "You can't come with me. This is your home." But she smiled, and not with joy, but with final peace. "Home is where you're still breathing," she said. And just like that, she walked beside him, past the tribe, past the fire, past everything that once defined her. The night swallowed them, leaving behind nothing but a dying flame and a tribe that had just watched history burn before their eyes. They walked until the horizon turned gold. He stopped, turned to her, still unbelieving. "You gave up everything for me?" She looked at him softly and said, "You gave me everything first." The cowboy pulled her close, not with passion, but with the trembling relief of a man who finally found where he belonged. And under that cold desert dawn, with no tribe, no laws, no gods to answer to, two lost souls found their truth in four simple words: "I belong with him." Dawn spilled slowly across the desert, turning the red dust to gold. The cowboy and the chief's daughter walked until the sound of the drums faded behind them. He carried nothing now, no gun, no badge, no home, just the weight of a promise that neither of them had spoken aloud. She limped slightly. He reached out a hand. For the first time, she didn't pull away. They didn't know where the path led, only that it led away from judgment. The wind brushed against her hair, carrying whispers of the tribe that had disowned her, and still she kept walking. By the third day, the desert turned cruel. They had little water, less food. He watched her stumble, caught her before she fell. "Rest," he said, his voice breaking. "You shouldn't have come." She smiled faintly. "You still think I followed you?" That smile undid him more than hunger ever could. He stared at her, the sun burning behind her shoulders like a crown. "No," he whispered. "I think you saved me." When night came, they built a fire of dry mesquite and huddled close. She spoke of her mother, of songs sung in the moonlight, of dreams, where the tribe didn't divide hearts by blood. He told her of battles he never wanted, of friends he buried with his own hands, of years spent chasing peace through gun smoke. For a moment they forgot they were outcasts. They were just two people breathing in the same rhythm. The stars felt closer that night, as if the sky itself leaned in to listen. Weeks passed. They found an abandoned cabin near a river, walls half fallen, roof open to the sky. Together they rebuilt it plank by plank. He taught her to ride again. She taught him to pray without words. Sometimes they fought, about the past, about fear, but always ended up laughing through the tears. Love didn't erase what they had lost. It simply gave it meaning. The world outside could stay cruel. Inside that cabin, there was only them. One morning he woke to the sound of drums echoing from the hills. The tribe had found them. He stood at the doorway, gun in hand, but hands shaking. She walked past him barefoot, eyes calm. The chief approached, older, slower, grief heavy on his shoulders. "We didn't come for blood," he said. "We came to see if love can survive our pride." She bowed her head but didn't kneel. "It did," she replied softly. "It survived everything." The chief looked at the cowboy, then at his daughter, and nodded once. "Then you are both free." When they left, the cowboy sank to his knees, tears cutting lines through the dust on his face. She touched his cheek. "They forgave you," he shook his head. "No, they forgave us." For the first time since the trial, he smiled, a real, quiet smile that felt like sunrise after endless night. Years later, travelers spoke of a small ranch by the river, tended by a white man and an Apache woman whose laughter carried for miles. They said the land bloomed where they walked, that their love had turned barren dust into green. No one knew their names, but the old stories called them the two who defied the fire. And when the wind moved through the canyons, some swore they could still hear her voice, steady, tender, unbroken, saying those same 4 words that once stopped the world. "I belong with him."